Hello, Abigail here with the Tarotscopes for Pisces season, Aquarius sun, moon, and rising. My Aquarians, this season is intense. We have so many planetary shifts. All of the personal planets, Venus, Mars retrograde are not retrograde. Venus, Mars, Mercury are all experiencing a retrograde moment. This is really causing upheaval in our personal lives. And of course, when we're collectively all going through it personally, it causes a lot of external upheaval. I want to run through just kind of the major things. I do have a longer video on this that's just specifically to it, but I kind of want to put it in context for you all because it's a lot. We also have an eclipse. We also have another eclipse, but it's not in Pisces season. It's in Aries season, which is going to create a lot of impact in the spring equinox. Also, I'm thrilled to be saying the word spring. I am not good at winter. Let's just say that. So we start off on the 18th, Pisces season. Yay, beautiful chef's kiss. We go into the next few days, the 23rd of February, we get Mars stationing direct. Finally, yes, we have a couple months of post shadow period where it goes back through those degrees, but we are moving forward, which I think is going to be a nice relief. However, we are going back into Saturn trines, North Node trines, Neptune trines, all of the trines. We're not going to actually hit that Neptune trine again, though, because it will have moved into Aries, which is another big moment that happens in Aries season, but is being played out throughout this Pisces season, this story. Then we get a new moon on the 27th. That is in Pisces. This is a great moon for kind of setting ourselves up for the eclipses, doing whatever grounding or connective practices that we need to do as we head into the cosmic chaos that is the hallmark of any eclipse cycle. Also important to note, look where your lunar nodes are. That will really affect your eclipse experience. Those are the north and the south node. This also have a lot to say about karma and your past life and a bunch of other lovely things. But in this moment, it will give you kind of a vibe for what this eclipse is. And a good example is my chart. Um, the nodes are still at a later degree, but this is a nodal square for me. I have my nodes in Sagittarius and in, technically Gemini and Sagittarius if we're looking at my birth chart. And so this is a really intense kind of all or nothing cycle. It's gonna be great as I like cry into my microphone. So just check what that means to you. And then we get the Venus retrograde, which starts on the 1st. Important to note, we're already in the post shadow period. So on the 1st of March, we're officially in it. But I can tell you from my clients, etc., that the Venus retrograde shadow has been doing the most. Also, we then get Mercury into Aries. That happens on the 3rd. And then we have a total lunar eclipse in Virgo. This is a heavy hitter. It's conjunct Saturn. It's conjunct the North Node. It's, they're always adjacent, but is in a very tight orb to the North Node. It's conjunct Neptune. There's just a lot happening. And I'm also pretty for sure it's conjunct Venus, but I would have to look. Retrograde. I would have to check that out, but it's a lot. So just know that this is the energy we're moving into. Bright side with that Saturn conjunction, I do think it gives you a bit of leverage to get some of the stuff that you want. Will it be in the way that you expect? No. It's also a South Node eclipse and it's a full moon. So there is also kind of a sense of purging. Not a bad thing though. I feel like a lot of us have a lot of clutter right now, emotionally, etc. This is going to be a big release. Let yourself cry, Aquarians, or at least be very angry. Then we have Mercury stationing retrograde the next day, which will have an effect on that eclipse. And then we move into Aries season on the 20th. So that's our kind of quick and dirty overview of the season. And I think looking at your cards, you have some of the more hopeful cards of the season. And if you have other placements, take those and kind of combine these readings to be kind of like, okay, so this part of my chart might have a little bit of this, and that part of the chart might have a little bit of this. So, your Aquarian placements might be feeling really good, but, if you have any Pisces placements, which a lot of Aquarians do, those might be under a bit of pressure, might be a bit of a struggle going on. We live, the entirety of our chart is our existence. So there's never going to be a part of our chart that's not experiencing some kind of growth. But the Aquarius part of your chart, I think a lot of things are starting to line up for you. So let's get into it. So your oracle card, which is from the Lost Oracle by Fiona Horn, is Hearth. Broaden your horizons, which I kind of love the duality of this card because if we're thinking about hearth, we're thinking about home and coziness, and then broaden your horizon, and we have this little black cat who is leaving the hearth. So I think this is a moment, if we follow the guidance of this card, which I think we should, to really cultivate our hearth space and our home while also not being tied to like having to exist only there. You can both have a beautiful home space and also go out into the world and adventure. This is a calling to create a place to return to so that we can fly even further afield. So in this time, really nest and build and cultivate a space that is really refreshing and beautiful for you, even if it's temporary. I don't know where you are in your life, but to find a way to create home wherever you are so that when you have to go on these big Aquarian adventures, you have a light to come home to, you have a hearth to recover at. I think so often we're very all or nothing when it comes to certain things. If we're going to be a traveler, then we have no place to lay our head. If we're going to be a homebody, then we never set foot outside of our home. That's just not the case. Have a beautiful home, create a safe hearth place, cleanse your altar, do those things so that you have the stamina and the ability and the strength to go do the big works that Aquarians are always called to. Even if it seems small to other people, your life work as an Aquarian has so much more expansion than even you know. So we start off with a Nine of Pentacles. I think this is really beautiful. All of my Capricorn Aquarius placements or Aquarius placements with a lot of Capricorn placements, which happens because the personal planets, Venus and Mercury, are attached to the sun's orbit. So they never move far afield. So if you are an Aquarius, every once in a while you're going to get, I think it usually is around a retrograde, you're going to get maybe a sign over, but it's only over early degrees. So you're constantly buddy buddy with Pisces and Capricorn placements. So many Aquarians I know have a Capricorn stellium and an Aquarius stellium with maybe a little red-haired, stepchild Pisces Venus or something. Very beautiful, but definitely kind of a different vibe to the rest of the chart. So this is your time. You are bringing in a harvest. This is a moment for Saturnian things. I think this also has a lot to do with Saturn conjunct that North Node. I don't think, if I remember correctly, we don't get the full conjunction until later, but it is adjacent. They are hanging out. That North Node of promise, of expansion, of projecting into the future, our dreams and our desires, especially in Pisces. There's such a massive amount of energy on that North Node. So, harvest the things that you have been doing. And also remember there is a right time to harvest. Sometimes I think we leave things in the field until they rot because we're afraid of picking them before they're ripe. Harvest is trusting your intuition. Harvest is knowing when something has, finished its time and now you get to pick it and utilize it in a really enriching and beautiful way. So, in this Pisces season, gather those coins. Look at all the beautiful things you've done. I also think maybe take a vacation, maybe just a day, maybe a day trip, but maybe once you've gathered your coins, take a break. The amount of Aquarians I know who never take vacation. I know it's not easy to put things down, especially when a lot of you are freelancers. However, please take a vacation. Go live your dreams, take care of yourselves. And this actually beautifully leads into our next card, the Empress. I love this card. It's so beautiful. It's so fertile and rich and sensual and erotic. It is time to take care of yourself. It is time to nurture and to pour out abundance on yourself. It's time to let yourself kind of lose yourself a bit in the Pisces energy, to fantasize and dream and create beautiful stories, and also to very practically offer your self-care and maybe do something luxurious. And it doesn't have to be something that has a luxury price tag, but maybe go get a massage or buy something extra special or make yourself a lavender latte at home. It doesn't have to be, hard on the bank, but do something for yourself that is abundant and fulfilling and joyful this season. It can be so easy for my Saturn folks to constantly be worried about time. But one of the most beautiful lessons of Saturn is that there's always time. Even when there's not, there's still always time because time is not real. The parameters of time don't exist. We feel them. Excuse me. We feel them in the finiteness of the body that we live in. We feel them in the progression that our minds can understand. But give yourself time. And one of the most beautiful and freeing things I think a Saturn person can do is to trust in the time that they have, to trust in the beauty of the moment. So tend to yourself, rest, find nature and beauty, and just rest and create a really beautiful space, kind of going back to that hearth. Create a really beautiful, lovely, fulfilling, expansive, gorgeous space for yourself, whether that is just within your body or within the space that your body inhabits. And also maybe give your body some love. This card is all about the lushness of the human form. So take care of your body and treat it like the beautiful treasure that it is. And you don't have to love everything about your body. Body neutrality is actually a really powerful thing. When I first started, I was like, no, I need to love my body. And the answer is no, my body is a body. I don't have to love it. I don't have to be obsessed over it. I don't have to think it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. But I do need to value it and to honor it for the vessel that it is, for the space that it holds. Um, so care for yourself this season. You will be harvesting some really beautiful stuff. Take care of the body that helped you get that stuff. Honor the body that gives you these things. And I also love the fact that this lovely person here is holding a heart in their hand. Tend to your heart a little bit this season. Sit with it. Ask it what it wants. Have a check in. Listen to the pure desire that exists inside of you. And maybe it's the desire for something really small, like a, like a grilled cheese. Or maybe it's the desire, a cosmic rich desire. It doesn't really matter. Listen to the desire that you have and meet that need. Do something deeply spiritual if that's the desire that you have. Make yourself a grilled cheese or buy a grilled cheese if that's some desire that you have. Yeah. You know, it doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be small, but it does need to happen. You need to take care of and nurture your body and your desires. And then we have the sun. And I really love how this all kind of ties together and plays into the other, we've talked about the productivity and the beautiful things you're going to be harvesting and how to care for your body. And now it's kind of time to care for the essential you, to let yourself shine, to accept the beauty that happens, especially because you are a sun in detriment if you have an Aquarius sun. If you have the other placements, they're fine. But if we're looking at the sun, if you're an Aquarius sun, this is a detriment sun. It does not behave the way the sun normally behaves. It doesn't always enjoy visibility. It can often struggle to integrate the kind of energy that itself, even itself contained. Even I don't know how I want to say this. It sometimes struggles to process even its own energy. It's like, maybe that's too much. Let yourself shine. Let yourself be who you need to be. Let yourself exist freely in this season. Going back to the Empress, meet the needs that are innate to you, not the needs that society tells you need to have, not the desires that you're supposed to have. Just because you have a set, like a certain level of ability or a certain skill set, it doesn't mean that you have to exist in that skill set. You can do whatever feels good to you. And I think the sooner that you embrace your innate desires and allow yourself to shine, the sooner you will get to do the work that is truly meaningful for you. The sooner you get to fully embody what it means to be an Aquarius placement, whether that be a moon or a sun or a Venus or Mercury or an ascendant, it is time to dig into those qualities. And those qualities aren't always the qualities that we are taught are valuable. Maybe your most beautiful and valuable quality is your ability to kind of intake information. It's maybe not your ability to give it back. It's maybe not your ability to give that information gently to people. But, you don't have to be socially acceptable. You don't have to be what other people want you to be so that they can utilize you. Um, all you have to be is enough for yourself. And then we kind of move away from, you know, what needs to be done on a personal level, and we come to deal with some circumstance. We do have a Seven of Cups. And in the representation of this card, you got a lot of options this season. You have a lot of choices. I think that these choices need to be made taking into consideration that Nine of Coins, that Empress, and the Sun. I don't really believe in good or bad choices. I just believe in choices. They are what they are. We do with them what we can. But follow your instincts. Don't follow what looks like it's best. Follow what feels like it's best. Follow what feels most natural. Maybe you're looking at, for instance, two different jobs. One of them is going to be difficult, kind of goes against your personality, will require you to do things that you already know you don't like, and it pays more. And the other one pays a little less, but there's a more flexible schedule, but you get to do what you really want to do. Those kinds of decisions. You don't always have to take the choice that looks the most good on an external level. You need to take the choice that works for you. Also, something a lot of people don't consider, who do you want to work with? Who do you want to be interfacing with? What group of people appeals to you? You have to see these people every day and work with them. What people do you think you're going to enjoy being with the most? Because being in a toxic work environment, that won't matter what job you have. People you work with can ruin the job. And also clients, like what type of client do you want to work with? I had someone, I think it was a couple of years ago, making a decision. Neither job was a problem. One was really high visibility and being in a fast-paced environment and a lot of praise and acclaim, and another one was smaller and more grassroots and super chill, and they were kind of just getting off the ground. And I was like, all finances and stuff aside, and even the place that this person wanted to live, which was very important to them, I was like, what clients do you want to work with? Because in that high paying job, you're dealing with a lot of incredibly wealthy, self absorbed people. And while in the other job, you're not dealing with, like, people still need money to like do the type of work this person offers. But like, what type, you get people who are more concerned about the environment. You get people who are more interested in integrating into the environments that they have. You get to help people kind of, you know, create a supportive space for themselves rather than, just something that shows off their wealth. I know I'm rambling at this point, but that's that kind of question. It's not just about the paycheck. It's not just about the money. I will say, if we are dealing with jobs though, read and double read that contract, and also make sure that if there is any um, exit moment, make sure there's a nice fat paycheck, and also make sure that there's no trial period, because that trial period, if you accept it in Pisces season, falls in that Venus retrograde and in that Mercury retrograde. Um, and if that job passes away, or you make a choice in the season that you're like, well, that was dumb, it wasn't dumb. You need to experience it in order to find the next best thing, or actually the better thing. So whatever choices you have, be it relationships, be it whatever, make sure that you're making it taking in what's important to you specifically, not anything else. This is really important, that you do what makes you feel at home. I'm very proud of myself for integrating that. And then last but not least, we do have a gorgeous Queen of Swords. Trust yourself, your acumen, your power, your skills, your ability to sort out, what is true and what is BS, and go with where your instinct tells you to go, even if it seems a little shakier than maybe the other direction. Trust that you know what you need, especially if you've done all of this first. And you're probably going to get some naysayers who are like, I don't know if that's ever going to work out for you. Who cares? It's not about you and your fears. It's about you as a person. Like that other person is only telling you that because they were too afraid of something. And to see someone succeed at something that they were too afraid to do makes them feel regret and makes them unhappy with themselves. Yes. Also, a fabulous question to ask yourself: do you want the life that that person who's telling you how to live your life has? And usually the answer is no, so don't listen to them. Anyways, trust yourself. Also, be really direct and make what you want clear when the time comes, because it's going to be real murky out there, folks. It is eclipse season and retrogrades times two. All right, my loves, this is my reading for you. I don't know if I should apologize to you like I did to Capricorn and Sagittarius for the fact that my ADHD is wild today due to not having slept well, but I hope you enjoyed the chaos. And I will see you in a different place and time. You can always ask me questions in the comments or share an experience that you have. I love talking. And also, like and subscribe if this resonated. Anyways, blessed Pisces season, and I will see you in a different space.